Baseball, Books, and Banter with me, your host, Nicole, as always. No sponsors, but still repping the Diet Coke in my Dunkin' cup because I had my iced tea lemonade and now I'm switching to Diet Coke for the rest of the evening in my super cute Celtics koozie. Probably bought at one of the Cozy Cottage locations because I love them. And I also love the people that can actually sew and do crafts. And since Dunkin' got rid of the hot cups, I needed to get one for me. So welcome back. So I hope you enjoyed the episode with Carmela. Really excited to meet her. This episode is with Jim and Sandy Manning, James and Sandy Manning, who separately are writers and together are going to be a collaborative writing, and they're married. So it was really kind of interesting to see some of that. We had a couple of snafus because they were traveling to Florida from Vermont. And I'm sure when they got the notice today that it was 9 degrees with like a wind chill of -20, they were probably like, yep, this is the good place to be. Not in, I think they said in the Naples area. I don't, you know me, I'm not that Florida savvy other than Fort Myers, which spring training is like fast approaching. Tomorrow is February, which means we have like 20 days until spring training games start. Pitchers and catchers report. I think they said truck day is on Monday. So the truck is going to be heading down, which means probably in like 10 days, pitchers and catchers will report. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm very excited about this season, even if without Devers and without Bregman, who we've talked about, I'm very okay with that. So we'll see what happens with the Red Sox season. I did shoot my shot with them. They're doing a night for Frida McFadden, who is a Massachusetts author who, as you most people know, writes thrillers, and she gets her own table at Barnes Noble, and she's famously reclusive, but they're doing a housemaid night because the movie just came out. So I just emailed somebody at the Red Sox. I said, hey, if you're doing like book nights, like I have my own baseball mysteries, but I also know a lot of people that write baseball books. You've heard from some of them on this podcast, but like Rosie Pease, who writes baseball romances. On Threads, there's a whole bunch of baseball romance authors. And then there's also gentlemen who write, that reminds me, I got to email a guy back, but there's also gentlemen who wrote baseball mysteries and baseball biographies. So I just said, hey, if you ever want to do like a grown-up book fair with baseball related books, I would gladly help set that up and bring authors in. We would set up on the concourse in different places and people can get books and watch a little baseball, which is my favorite. And also say hi to Peggy, who gets a shout out every time on this podcast. So we'll see. No response there. I also sent it to the Woo Sox in Worcester as well. Again, no answer there. So if anybody listening enjoys those two places and knows people, like hit them up and say you want some book people to come out there. What else? So that's the Red Sox. Obviously, it's still the off season, so nothing really happening. I think we recorded the last episode before the Patriots won against Denver, and we're going to the Super Bowl again. Like, can you believe? I was not expecting that. They won in a blizzard, which was pretty fun because we were also in a blizzard here in Massachusetts. So it was kind of like, oh, the weather is the same. So that was kind of fun. And now, like, what? We're in the Super Bowl again? Usually, I think I've talked about this before. In 2015, we had a snowstorm every Sunday night, and that year the Patriots won the Super Bowl. So I don't know if it's because we've had a snowstorm on Sundays periodically, but that's what I'm thinking. So maybe it's good luck. Not too pleased with Bob Kraft right now with his kowtowing to the president. But I do love me some Drake May. I do love me some Mike Vrabel. I love a lot of the guys. Pop Douglas, I've talked about. I love him so much. He's just, and I met Antonio Gibson's wife, Victoria, who's so funny on the TikToks, and highly recommend following her. So I want to win. I want them to win for them. I don't necessarily want Bob Kraft to win. But, I guess you can't choose who owns your favorite team, even though, like, what are we doing, people? So I'm not even going to get into all that. I talked about it last time that I come from a place from privilege where I can say, I don't want to talk about that right now, but just know, and I think I've said this many times, this is a safe space. if you're feeling a certain type of way about things, feel free to reach out and talk to me. I don't answer my phone, but I will text, I will email. If you need to talk, I can definitely jump on a Zoom. I know it's a hard time, and I have cats, so I can talk to them. Speaking of cats, do you want to know more about Boston sports? Probably not. You want to hear about my cat talk. Celtics, good. Bruins, getting better. They're playing the outdoor game tomorrow in Tampa, so we'll see how that goes. Cats. So I had to say goodbye to Fern right before Christmas, which was heartbreaking, devastating. She was my lap cat slash attitude slash I want to go run around in the backyard cat. And Madeline and the captain, didn't really. I mean, they were kind of separate. They had their own thing going, so I don't know if they I could feel that they missed Fern too, because Madeline started getting a lot more lovey-dovey, comforting. But I was going to just be a 2-cat household for a while. But then I saw this little gray cat on Pet Finder, and I literally 5 minutes ago just picked him up at the parking lot of PetSmart from a lovely lady in South Carolina. And I would introduce you, but he's a very nervous Nelly at the moment. So he's hiding in my office, which is the kitten room right now. Just letting him get used to it, have a little food out, all that. But his name at the Pet Finder Lost Kittens Rescue was Cooper. And I was like, oh, I really like that name, Cooper. When he's in Massachusetts, you got to drop the R. And then I told my family last week, I said, if the Patriots win this AFC championship game, because it was only like 10-7, guys, or 10-9, or some weird, not high scoring game. I said, if Drake May wins, I might make his full name Cooper May. And they did. So Cooper May is the newest member of the household, a little gray boy who's very nervous right now. But I love a gray cat. Fern was gray. Jacques was gray. And I don't know if you know my little, you'll see it on the title card, the little illustration I had done. I kind of just like to keep matching cats to who they are. So the original picture was Jacques, Madeline, and Julia. And now it's the captain, Madeline, and Koopa May. So hopefully I have a couple of podcasts coming up. Hopefully in one of them in the future, you'll get to see Cooper May. If you follow me on my socials, that's probably where you're going to see him first. So make sure you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, maybe TikTok, who the heck knows. But that's enough about me, because now I know the reason you really come to this podcast, either on YouTube or via listening. Audio is the word. Yeah, I'm a writer, guys. Is to hear from the authors. So without further ado, here's Jim and Sandy. But welcome to the podcast, Sandy and Jim Manning, who I have met from Crime Bake. And we love the bake. It's going to be a good one this year, so make sure you guys come, and also everybody else on listening, make sure we come. It's our 25th anniversary this year, so big to do. We were just, before we started recording this, we actually were talking, they're in Florida now, and as someone in the cold state of Massachusetts, part of me is jealous for the sun aspect, but part of me is also not jealous because it's 80 degrees and that's too warm for my little New England blood to handle. I'm already sweating just thinking about it. But we were also talking, they have cats as well. So driving down to Florida with the cats. What are the cats? Oh, I know what the cat's name. We got Dimitri and Zhao. Yeah. I love it. What kind of cats?
Dimitri is a Siamese cat. He is named after a character in my second novel who is sort of like Dimitri. Both characters, the idea is they're loyal to, but on their terms, and not complete. Someone you can completely trust.
Sure. That's how all cats are, right?
And Xiao his full name is actually Xiao Mao. He is a Tonkinese, and Xiao Mao means little cat in Chinese, and it was named by my daughter and her husband because they thought, well, it's Tonkinese is a combination of Siamese and Burmese, and they thought he should have a Chinese name.
Not that that's like a stereotype, but all us mystery authors have cats. So, I mean, I have Captain who's running around right now because I just filled the bird feeders. So she's at every window trying to catch the birds. And I was like, but we're not going outside because it's snowing. But you are the killing couple. You
Yeah.
are authors separately in your own right, and also authors together.
We
We
have
will be.
we will
Will
be.
be right.
We're planning to write up. Here comes Shell.
Did I hear my name?
Grab him.
Yeah,
Show him
cats
off.
are very, yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
god, oh little kid. Look at that face. Oh my god. I could cuddle that cat forever.
He is the most
He's a
cuddly
lover.
cat.
Yeah.
But we are planning to write a book together after we finish the books we're currently writing.
And Sandy, you have a series and you're up to 5
I
books.
just I just put out the fourth book in the series. I have one book as a standalone,
Gotcha.
and it actually just won a gold medal from Independent Publishers of New England for Best Genre Novel of 2025.
Oh, congratulations. Yay. Confetti, confetti. I don't know how to do it, you know.
Wee,
I don't know how to
wee.
do like editing in here. So it's just like, woo.
And his first
I was
novel,
just gonna say Jim is also an award winner, right? The silver,
Yeah.
what is it? The silver falcon? Falcon?
Silver Falchion at Killer Nashville for Best Comic Action Novel.
oh,
That
That's
was
amazing.
Richter the Mighty.
That was 23, right?
Right.
2023. And your second one is just, did it come out or is it coming out?
Kingdom of Hatchet came out last year.
Yeah. Okay. And so I was reading through your website. Look, I do take notes. I'm like somewhat professional. Sometimes. That you guys were both lawyers at some, was that how you met?
no, actually, we met at a poker game the night before I took the LSAT.
Oh my God, that story already sounds amazing.
Yeah, we had mutual friends and they thought we might like each other. So they invited us both to a poker game. I had the LSAT the next day and it happened to be one of my lucky nights. So I went in, I cleaned up, and then I looked at my watch and said, oh, whoops, it's 9:30. I have to leave. I have the LSAT tomorrow. And so I always thought he called me to get his money back.
Yeah. Right. And here we are, how many years later? You don't have to give full, like, actual dates, but you can round it if you don't want to. You can also tell us.
43.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so cool. That's such a meet cute. And obviously you passed the LSATs because you were a lawyer.
I did pass the LSATs.
Yep, yep. And
tell your story, Jim, how you got to be a lawyer.
Well, I had to get my money back. No, I was a PhD teaching English, and
right.
it was that time in the 70s when jobs were really drying up, and it was becoming that you had to be a literary critic, and I wanted to write novels, so I thought if I was going to not be able to write, I might as well make some money. So I became a lawyer too.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's most of us, right? Like we're all writers, but we're all also like, I need money too. Like that's why I'm a technical writer by day. But that's just for anybody baby authors listening, we're not James Patterson over here. We're not making money hand over fist like Dan Brown, just putting out books. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just a little bit jealous. But we all kind of have to do other things to make the writing happen, I guess. So we were talking at the top how you spend a bunch of months in Florida versus a bunch of months in the state of Vermont, which I love. I've only been a couple of times to Vermont. The book I'm writing now has a lot of stuff in Vermont, and I'm like, oh, I should take a little research trip up there. But do you find in the two locations that you have different writing practices? Do you find it easier to write in one location versus the other, or it just kind of flows the same way? Because both of you write very different books too. I mean, yours is the comedy genre with the action and mystery, and yours is like a domestics. I'm pointing. This is a visual and audio medium. I'm like, with the whole geopolitical background. So yeah, how does that writing process work?
Well, to be honest, at the moment, writing in Florida is much easier than in Vermont. Because our daughter, her husband, and their 2.5-year-old baby are living with us in Vermont at the
Oh,
moment. And
It's a joy, and it's also not so easy to write sometimes.
I
yeah,
understand that.
I will be in the middle of trying to draft a scene, and suddenly there's a pitter-patter little feet, and Mira comes running in and she calls me Ha, and says,
Oh. And then you're like, well, that's a stopping point because now I need to
Yeah,
read this because that's adorable.
yeah.
it
How can
is,
you ignore it?
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So Florida, you have a little bit more time, I guess, and space to write.
it's a little easier to concentrate because we're not being interrupted constantly. It's easier.
Do you interrupt each other while you're working? Like, do you work in the same room or do you constantly like, hey, what are you working on?
I would do that, but I drive him nuts.
Yeah,
No.
I go in a room and shut the door. I like to keep it that way.
Yeah, I like the dynamic you two have because even at the crime bake, I mean, you're very different personalities, and I think it works well. So I can see where you would be like, I need a minute. Like, let me do my own thing. And I'm a yapper, Sandy. So I will
Me
yap.
too.
Yeah. So if you have a door open, I will be talking. My aunt and I drove to Washington, D.C. last year for my brother and my dad's birthday. And she goes, the entire 9 hours, you did not stop talking. I was like, well, I had company. So, like, of course, I'm going to yap. I live alone. Who else am I yapping to? So I can see how that would be. Oh, that's why it's probably easy to write as a single person, just living without kids around, just with the cats and going, what are you doing? What are you doing, cats? Um, that's interesting. Do you guys bounce ideas off each other ever? Or is you're
Oh,
very different writers? So
but yeah, but I read all his stuff. I love his stuff. It's different, very different, and he reads all my stuff. But I will say that I'm been in a critique group from ITW for about 3.5 years now, which has probably saved our marriage because before that, I used to time I'd write a chapter, I'd go running into them and say, read this, is this
oh,
okay? Is this okay? And now I've got it in my critique group and they read it and they tell me if it's okay or not. And I
ITW is the International Thriller Writers, right?
it's
Okay,
international thriller writers and they form some critique groups and I love my
that's
group.
awesome.
Um,
Yeah, I like to be able to read it when it's done so that I get the whole experience.
Yeah, instead of just piecemeal.
Yeah.
and he doesn't want me reading anything of his until he's done because he's afraid if I critique it that it'll put him off.
Oh yeah. And also I would feel like having the background of the PhD with literary background, that would make me very nervous to have that person read my stuff like right away when it was still in the draft phase. Like, yes, a scene is out, but it's still like the baby scene. Like it's not fully edited and anything. I'd be like so nervous. I'd be like, Professor, no, like because that's what I would think you would do is just be like, well, here's my red pen, tick, 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 tick. But you're more of the story sharing stories.
Yeah.
Well, we bounce even though we do bounce ideas off each other. Does this sound like this would work? And I'll say, yeah, that sound, and he says, gives me suggestions. I give him suggestions, and
And then we have taken a finished manuscript and gone over every scene. Does it have enough tension? Is it?
Mm. It's nice to have somebody in the same building as you, I would think, for that purpose, that you're not dependent on like sending an email and then just waiting. Like at least that's almost immediate gratification of having your partner. Well, you hope they like it, but also being honest enough to say, I don't know if that's working quite right.
yet
Yeah.
I think we both appreciate each other's writing and we can edit it, but we can also, we're secure enough to say, this isn't really working. Might want to change it.
So do you have the idea of the book that you're going to write together, or is that still
Yeah.
definitely okay? And do you find it's the idea is a meld of your two personalities, or is it something different?
it's going to be something different.
Yeah.
And but the thing is that what we're going to do is we have two main characters, and we're going to alternate chapters, and he's going to write one, and I'm going to write the other, so that the difference in style
Makes
and
sense.
perspective will be natural because
Yeah.
they're different, two different characters.
Yeah, I think I've read a lot. Well, I've read a lot of interviews of people who have co-written books, and that's kind of the way they do it, because they said it's harder to, especially if it's two very different voices, it's hard to blend the two voices into a single chapter. So like by having it alternate characters, you're allowed to still have your voice, and it's but the story still follows. So I think that's probably a good idea.
Hmm.
So what we have to do though is sit down and do a full, we know the basic idea. Are we keeping it under wraps, Joe?
Yeah.
But and we want to know what we're going to write, but want to do a very detailed outline so that you know we usually we're more plotters than pantsers, but we
Okay.
do a little bit of each.
Yeah.
And when you're writing with someone else, you really have to be a plotter.
Oh, I can imagine. Oh my gosh, because I just know my writing style. If I ever had to like bring somebody into that, they'd be like, "What are you doing? Like, where's the killer, but you don't know how they're gonna get there?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's just what works for me." But I can see how if you have another person who's physically working the same book, same idea, you kind of want to know what each other's doing ahead of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can plant those little seeds throughout the other chapters.
Yeah.
So, Sandy, your books are they spy books, or are they
Yeah.
just okay?
Well, four of them are it's my
Yes.
spy series: Trojan Horse, Nerve Attack, Bloody Soil, and my latest book, Imminent Risk,
Love
that
that.
just came out this week. And yay! Oh, I have to tell you something that I found absolutely amazing. I don't know. I subscribe to The Atlantic.
Okay.
As a subscriber, they have a daily, a daily little newsletter you can
Hmm.
get, and I get that. And the day of my launch, I got an email from a friend who said, "Do you know that I already knew that this book was out because I
Yeah.
saw it in the Atlantic Daily." I said, "What?
What?
What?" And I went to that day. I had missed it, and I went to that day, and it said, "In the upcoming week, award-winning author Esli Manning's new book is coming out." And I like my mouth. It was
Right.
like oh my God.
How do
And
they know? And yes, they know. And oh my gosh.
oh my God, it's not like I'm, as you say, Grisham or
Right.
somebody. Well, no. And I actually I found the editor, and I sent her a message over social media. I said, "How did this happen?" And
Yeah.
she said, "Well, I read your books and I liked them, and I was really excited to see a new book was coming out." And I thought, wow, is so cool.
That's amazing. And that's, I think, again, if any baby authors are listening to this, like I call them baby authors, because we're so grizzled veterans now. You have two books, you have 4 or 5 books, I have 2 books, and I'm like, oh, we're veterans. But it's those little, like you said, one person likes your book, you don't know where it's going to go after that. And now you've been in the Atlantic Daily download or whatever they call it. Like that's not a small deal. Like that's
A lot of readers.
No,
right, like
they've
over
got hundreds of thousands of
all over the world, I'm sure.
Yes, I mean, I was thinking, I made a national publication. I got my book got mentioned.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
was, it made the entire launch.
I'm sure. Did you do anything other special for the launch, or was that kind of, because this is so I'm not sure about the first 3 books in the series, but this one, it's with your press, right? The press that you guys created together. This
the
Haven.
We're also we have our rights back. We're going to be reissuing all of our other books under the press.
Okay.
But yeah, these are all spy books.
Yeah.
The other thing that I did that also turned out to be sort of weird, or not, no, great. Let me put it that way. I write the probably the only um, Jewish immigrant to the United States who's an American, naturalized American working for American intelligence. Almost all the books, if you see
Yeah.
about thrillers about spies, unless they're Israeli,
Yep.
and you have Israeli spies, but for in America, they're all, excuse my language, goyim,
Yeah.
and and they all, they have, and
Well,
so I thought I'm going to break the stereotype. No
yeah.
one thinks, no, everyone has, they think of Jewish characters, they think of Woody Allen characters or, intellectual, sort of nerdy. And I thought I'm going to he is an intellectual, but he's also an action character.
Right.
And so I broke, and so so what I did that was different is there's a group on Facebook called Jewish Women Meet and Support. And I introduced myself and I mentioned my
Yeah.
books. And I got 850 people liking it, and then like 200 comments of people saying, "Where can I find your books?"
Yeah.
It was
That's amazing.
incredible.
Yeah. And again, that's the thing. People don't realize, yes, the writing is paramount. Yes, the story is paramount. Yes, writing the book and getting it out there is paramount, but it's also connecting with people that way, or, reaching out to the Atlantic editor and going, "Hey, how'd you hear about this?" And she's like, "I just love your book." So now you know that she's going to be a fan probably forever. And the same thing with these Facebook, even if it doesn't translate into billions in sales, you're reaching the people that it needs to reach. And that's, I think that's the best, to me, that's the best part of being a writer, is not making sale upon sale upon sale. Sales are good. We love money. Nobody's arguing that. Like, money's great. But finding the one person who's like, I see myself in that character, or I've always wanted to see a character like this, or I've never read a story like this, and it's now my favorite thing. You're like, "Oh my God, I'm somebody's favorite author." Like,
Well, yeah, you had this experience with Dean's brother-in-law, right?
Yeah, someone who I think works on Wall Street just happened to find my book and really liked it. Didn't realize it was somebody he was related to.
that's fun. And I can imagine like the conversation, like it happened to be, "Oh, I read this great book. Oh, it's da da da," and you're like, "Hi, that's me."
That's me, right?
And they're like, "Wait, what?" who now? I do find, I don't know if you guys, when you do events, you find this too. You're sitting there and your books are on the table and you're like, "Hi," and you have a pen in your hand and people are like, "Did you write this?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just selling these books all of the same name at the same place. Like, of course I wrote it. Come on, what am I doing here?" So I guess it's different if you have pen names, and you guys kind of use the pen names too. So not pen names, but I guess variations of your own name.
Yeah, we have stories about why we use these
Yeah.
names. Um, so I'm S. Lee Manning
Yeah.
because when I was first writing, I was told that men will not buy spy books written by a woman. So I thought, okay, Lee, Lee, is my middle name.
Right.
And S is just use my first initial. I was thinking, someone said, "Well, why don't you just go with Lee Manning?" And I Googled it, and there was a Lee Manning who wrote about anal sex. So I said,
Oh,
no.
yeah, don't want to be on that Google list.
So
Yeah, mine, I searched for James Manning, which is my name, and there's an orthopedist in Las Vegas who comes up with the first 9 million hits on Google. So I figured this is not going to
How am I
work.
going to wade through that? Yeah.
Yeah. So I went with JP.
And which again, because I mean, they, like Sandy, you were saying that, there's that stereotype that men aren't going to want to read books by women authors about men doing men things and adventure. But at the same time, I think now that's changing, which is nice, that there are more fans who are like, "No, I want to know who you really are, and what you're writing is universal. It's not a man, it's not a woman thing." And I do think that groups like Sisters in Crime are very helpful with that. Not just saying that because I'm president, but like because it's true. It's
Yes.
the helping that get out there, and going to Crime Bake and just being like, "Nope, that's me. I'm a lady. Surprise." And people going, "Oh, okay, that doesn't factor in anymore." or it still does because people are dumb, but like, you know.
Yeah, I have an experience along those lines, which was I had a contract for my first book, Trojan Horse, that fell through, and then but I had met a critic, and
Mm,
I don't want to give his name
sure.
because I wound up liking him a lot, but who said
But
she
at
does
the time,
at the time I asked him, would you review my book, my spy book? And he said, women just can't write tough enough thrillers. And we became sort of friendly on Facebook, and I asked him again. He said, "Oh, he said, okay, all right." It wound up being he listed his top 5 thrillers for 2020, and my book was one of them.
yeah. And that's the thing. It's like a lot of times they just need to see it,
Mhm.
that they have that preconceived notion. And it's sort of similar with, I guess, in the romance genre. If you see a man's name on a romance cover, people are like, oh, that can't be a good romance. A man can't write romance, Jim. Like it's like, no, but that's changed because really it's not about, because let's be honest. I mean, a lot of the men that write spy novels, they're no James Bond. They've never done James Bond shit. Like they're not going out and fighting terrorists. So why is that any different? Like lived
I
experience.
Yeah, one of the biggest spy writers right now is Mick Herron.
Hmm.
I've met Mick Herron. He's no spy.
No, no offense, Mick, if you're listening.
He is I love his
He's a
books.
Yeah,
funny
yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is. It's like I don't. Yes, they say write what you know, but also it's fiction. I mean, everything. We live in a world of make believe. So if I want to make believe that I can be a spy, as long as you do the right research, why not? Like,
Mhm.
don't dumb it down. But I don't think that's what any of us do. I mean, you're not writing down to the audience; you're writing up to them to say, like, here's how the spy game works, or things like that. I think I think that's great. I think let's subvert more tropes and subvert expectations. And I think, Jen, with yours, that's sort of what you're doing, because you're a genre, like spy genre is a genre, but I feel like your book is a little bit of a mishmash of genre. um,
Mm,
how do you
yeah.
find balancing the humor but also still including the aspects of mystery and suspense and all that?
I mean, I've never really understood why genres have to be pure.
Hmm.
The last one I wrote, Kingdom of Hatch, it's got the action thriller, it's got absurdist elements, and it's got a romance. And I thought it all worked nicely together. Mhm.
Well, that's it. And that's, I think, again, and I talk about this on the last one I did, was even in genre, there's like a lot of subgenres. And I think we do a disservice when we don't recognize the subgenres of it all. Because I think, again, one person just needs to like it, and outside of your own family, because they'll say they like it anyway. But as long as that one person likes it, you've reached an audience. And obviously you both did that by reaching out to different audiences.
Yeah, I guess there are a couple of things in tension here. One is readers of genre fiction are expecting certain things, and
Sure.
if they don't get them, they're disappointed. On the other hand, there's something to be said for originality and, as you
Mm-hmm.
say, subverting tropes and
Mm-hmm.
surprising a reader. And trying to get that balance right
It's hard, and
is a
that's why we make the not big bucks, because we do it. um but I feel like that's like the sort of going around with the heated rivalry exploded. It's hockey, it's romance written, it's queer, and but it still has the tropes of, oh, it's a romance, oh, there's fighting, there's romance, but there's hockey. So like even romance is starting to do that. And I am personally a fan of cozy fantasy books and cozy sci-fi, so like you still get the mystery, but there's aliens, so that's different.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I like to read. The thing is that, I like to read across a wide
Oh
spectrum.
yeah.
I don't just read. I mean, I love spy novels.
Sure.
And I can reread them all the time. But I also like to read, like I started on these Chet and Bernie books that
Hmm.
I heard about actually at New England Crime Bake, and it's a detective and his dog told from the point of view of the dog.
Oh my God.
And they're hilarious. They're so much fun. So
And
I
that's
enjoy.
there's a
Yeah.
movie coming out next year with Hugh Jackman where his sheep are the detectives. He dies and he's a sheep farmer and the sheep are the detectives. It's based on a book, but that's a similar thing. Like again, you're getting a classic mystery just with a different voice. And I think that's the best part of writing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
fun.
it's yeah, when you pick up something that's different. I mean,
Yeah.
the dog doesn't talk in
No.
these. He has sort of a dog sensibility, like
Yeah.
he's all interested in smelling things and eating things.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
That's
just
funny.
they are fun.
Yeah.
When I want to break from because Mick,
Yeah.
Mick Herron's books, one of the things I love about them is they have that mixture of humor and but the adventure that you sometimes, it's kind of a nice mix.
And it's escapism in that respect when you have the adventure with the spy. Like I like a book, like I'm a Clive Cussler fan from the jump, like even all the misogynistic ones from the early 80s. Like I you know what you're gonna get, but at the same time, it ramps up the energy and you're just like, okay, I know in 300 pages I'm gonna get a treasure, I'm gonna get some bad guys, I'm gonna get a hot lady, I'm gonna get a hot dude, there's maybe a submarine involved. Like sometimes, yes, while we like to subvert trends, there is a reason they're trends in the first place and tropes, like because they're comforting. And in the winter or when the world's on fire, sometimes you just want to pull out that book that's comforting, like a spy novel that Mick Herron, who you like, and you're going to read it. And like the Atlantic editor who's like, I liked your first bunch of books, so I'm going to keep reading them. And that's going to be her pickup. And then sometimes you just need to laugh because
Yeah, in this world, laugh is
I'm
really
like, hello,
important.
everything happening. Um, but that's really awesome. So one of the things I like to do before we wrap up, because again, I say this every time, I'm cheap, I don't pay for Zoom. So we only have 40 minutes. Do you have, well, we've talked a lot about books, but do you have any other book recommendations or books that you've just read or books that have changed your life or anything like that for our audience?
Jim?
I know,
Uh,
ask the literature professor.
well, a long time ago in a different country.
Yeah.
um, I read Deacon King Kong not too long ago and really liked that, James McBride.
Mm.
And I'm in the middle of Fever Beach by Carl Hyacin.
Oh,
So far, I'm enjoying it a lot.
that's that humor
Yeah, yeah.
element, right? Yeah. How about you,
Yeah.
Sandy?
I was going to say, along with the books I've already mentioned, I really like Daniel Silva's book. If I want, the sort of straight
Oh yeah.
spy thing, but with some witty dialogue, which is sort of where mine are, Daniel Silva has some really
He's
good.
been one of my favorites for a
Yeah.
long time. Steve Barry, kind of similarly, but
Yes.
yeah, like it's the same. Again, you, you know what you're going to get, but you just don't know how you're going to get it. If that makes sense, you kind of know what you're expecting, and there's surprises along the way. But yeah, I love Daniel Silva. Me and my brother and my dad. That's a book. That author is one that we all read, and so we all kind of talk about after that because they're not going to read the cozy mystery set on the food truck, even though they should because it's great. But at least it's something that we can talk about together, which I think is fun. Where can people find you guys? I mean, obviously, right now you're in Florida. Don't go find them, but they're in Florida. But where can they find you online or at any events coming up?
We don't a website under
.com.
jamesbmanning.com and esleemanning.com. There's also our new press is Misbehaving Press.
Which I love the name.
And yes, and and it's got its own website, and we are featuring our new books as we come out with them under the Misbehaving name.
Are you going
So
to
that,
bring in other authors or just, I mean, I'm not asking for me. I'm just in general.
Well,
Are you?
we haven't
Yeah,
made that decision. At this
sure.
point, we're doing ours,
Yeah.
and it's kind of there's a lot of work in
Oh, yeah.
reissuing the old
reissuing our
ones.
old books. I've been working on start that now that we've got our rights back,
Good.
and hoping to get them all. That's what, 6 books
Yeah.
out by the end of the month, and there's quite a. I'm designing the covers
Yeah.
and doing the formatting, and
Wow.
there's all sorts of. Never even thought of all the details you need to do, but you can look at for us on Misbehaving Press or
Or your individual
our
websites.
individual email websites, and
Yeah. Facebook, not Twitter. Look at, I'm still in the old school, like Twitter. I use Threads, so I don't know. I'm like, I don't know anymore.
I don't use. I got off X.
Yeah,
It
same.
was just too much nasty stuff.
Same.
I'm on, but I have a Facebook page, Esley Manning.
Yeah, and I have a Facebook page, James Manning, JB Manning, actually, for the author page.
Yeah. That's funny because yeah, that's the hard part is sometimes you have to, if you have an author page and a personal page, you're like, which one am I telling people about? Which one do they want? What face do I want them to see? I am one of those people that have the same face on both. So it's like, guess what, guys? What you see is what you're gonna get because I'm too lazy to do that. But I have to work like during the day, not tomorrow, but like during the day. Um, but that's awesome. And I will put the link to both of your websites below so that people can just click, 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 click and find you. And you have purchase links on your websites or
We do, but they're going to be
sure,
have to be changed because
with the new
again,
issues.
Yeah, they've been taken
they've been
down.
taken
Okay.
down pretty much.
Yeah,
I
makes sense.
think Amazon still has some of the old books.
Right.
They keep them up until we.
That's how mine are right now because I'm in between publishers. So it's like you gotta be like, well, you can buy some from me directly. I have a couple, but otherwise you have to wait until everything's crossed and dotted. But this is great. I'm so glad we got to connect after
Yeah,
travel and winter and cats, everything. And hopefully I'll see you in November at the Crime Bake.
yeah,
You
yes.
will.
Okay,
We had
good.
a great time last time.
Good answer. And obviously I'm at the front desk, so you won't be able to get by me without seeing me. But I appreciate it. Thank you guys for joining.
Thank
Thank
you for
you.
having
Really
us.
enjoyed it.
This has been fun.
So I'm obsessed with their dynamic. I think they bounce off each other really well, and I can't wait to read what they write together because they do have two different voices. So it'll be really interesting to see. And I hope when they do come back up this way, it's less cold and less snowy, and they get to have some fun. And the cats. Oh, there's Madeline right there. She's popping her head in to say hi. Um, Coming up, we have the return of Dale Phillips, who friend of the program, who which leads me to my books that I recommend because he is the person that I think it was 2017 or 2018. I have the certificate. I did the Cape Cod Writers Conference. I got a scholarship to go. And so it was really fun. And he taught a mystery writing class. And he likes to say that he created me. And he introduced me during that class to the writer Simone St. James. Well, after that, I devoured everything she wrote. And now I'm like, obsessively whenever her books come out. I'm like, yes, I need it right now. So finally it came in at the library, A Box Full of Darkness by Simone St. James. I know nothing about this and I cannot wait to crack it open. I think I'm the first person to check it out, which I love when I go to my library. Other library books I'm reading, this is also a new series, Murder in Manhattan by Julia Mulhern, a Freddie Archer mystery. Very 1920s Art Deco, strong woman reporter, murder, bootleggers, really into it, almost done with it. So that's going to be my today read while I wait for the new cat to come out. Also, what else did I finish? I have a couple of books on my Kindle that I got through NetGalley, and they're just okay. So I'm not going to mention them, but they're all right, and they're fun to read. Just go through. Irene Shapiro writes a great series. I think it's Gemma Tate and Sebastian Bell. Again, a woman doctor, or a woman who's trying to go into pathology, and she's working with the coroner and an inspector. And the most recent one, the one that I'm reading now or just read, is Murder at a Carnival, I think, or the Carnival Murders. And it's very graphic about like fetal injuries and murders and lividity and organs. And I don't want to say it's funny, but like weirdly, at the same time I'm reading this one from NetGalley, I had talked about before Julie McElwain's latest Twist in Time series, and it was sort of a similar thing where it was a group of science-based murders, I guess, except for them that was trying to cure syphilis. So it was really weird, the parallels between the two books I was reading, but both I enjoyed. So those are a couple that I really enjoyed. In regards to my book stuff, I have no news. I do have the smaller copies. If you're interested in a sort of close to mass market paper size copies of the book, I have them here, or you can order them on Barnes and Noble, through my website. I even have Kindle books or ebooks on my website, so you can get them through there while I wait for Level Best stuff to catch up. And then February 19th, I just signed up to do an event at the Brockton Public Library, a mystery making, which I've expounded on the virtues forever. See that on my website, but definitely come if you're in the South Shore area, because it is one of the most fun events we've ever been a part of. And then just kind of pulling stuff together for Sisters in Crime New England. If you have any thoughts, suggestions, comments, concerns, reach out. Our website's starting to look better, a little more usable. And we're getting more events put on the calendar. And we hope in March to do a Meet the Members. So if you're a member and you want to come meet us, even if you're not a member, but you want to know what it's all about, stay tuned for information about that. And we're going to do live and virtual. So hopefully you can pick one. But on that note, I mean, that's kind of all that's going on. It's been wintry. It's been cold. So not a lot of outside time. I didn't even do things I'm obsessed with, because it's like things are happening. So that's a next week project. I'll do some things I'm obsessed with after we talk to Dale. But other than that, I mean, happy Pitchers and Catchers Report month. And also go Pats. Super Bowl. What? Crazy. Go Pats. Happy reading. Go Red Sox.